Hello everyone, it's your 7th favorite shade of MapleStory, Vadu here. I always find the most interesting things in MapleStory are the updates when the gear meta gets shifted around, and whenever we have access to new upgrades. In the Destiny patch, we are expected to be receiving 3 new pieces of equipment that are obtainable through the bosses located in the Arcane River and Grandis. The 3 pieces are the Daybreak Pendant, a pendant acquired through Varishilla and Saren, Estella earrings, acquired through Gloom and Darknell, and finally the Twilight Mark, acquired through Lucid and Will. So, the topic of this video and the most intriguing piece of equipment to be released is the Twilight Mark.
Wow!
The Twilight Mark is very interesting because we currently don't have another piece of equipment in the face accessory slot that can be star forced to 22 stars, other than the Sweetwater tattoo from Commercy PQ and Berserked, a pitch boss drop from Lotus. In addition to having the capability of being started 22 stars, the Twilight Mark also has a boss flame advantage, being able to achieve up to tier 7 flames with rainbow flames, and tier 6 flames with red flames. I'll post a link in the description of this video if you're unfamiliar with flame tiers and how it works. So the fact that the Twilight Mark has a flame advantage over the Sweetwater tattoo, an item that does not have a boss flame advantage, makes it an interesting case to look into. In addition to the flame advantage, the new equipment are all a part of a new set effect, along with the Guardian Angel Ring, also known as the Slime Ring, which is already best in the slot. So because of this, the Twilight Mark will instantly give you a 2 set effect, assuming you're already using the Guardian Slime Ring anyway. Just for a quick recap, the Twilight face will get better flames and have a set advantage over the Sweetwater tattoo. On the flip side, the Sweetwater tattoo, being a level 160 item, will naturally gain more stats per star each time you star force it because of the higher level tier, along with a potential advantage. Items level 160 and up can achieve a prime line of 13% stat, making the ideal 3-line arrangement of a potential at 33% stat. For the Twilight Mark, for the same potential, since it's a lower tier, it will only be at 30% stat. Because we have the Sweetwater tattoo as a face accessory, it opens up the possibility of transposing the Twilight Mark onto the Sweetwater tattoo in the same way that people transpose Papulatus marks onto Sweetwater molecules and the eye accessory slot. I'll post a link in the description below for more information on transposing items. Anyway, so the first thing that we should look at is how much better the Twilight Mark transposed Sweetwater tattoo is versus just the ordinary basic clean Sweetwater tattoo that you're probably already using. Here's a comparison chart that we're going to look at. And just as a disclaimer for each one of these charts, the exact amount of final damage that you're going to gain may vary based upon your individual setup, but it should be relatively the same. If you're interested in your specific gains, you can feel free to do the math yourself. These charts are just for a general showcase purpose. So this is the chart that we're going to be using to compare the Transposed Sweetwater tattoo and just the regular Sweetwater tattoo. So just to break these two down to let you know a little bit of information since it's not listed, these numbers here, these are your stat gains that you're going to make at 22 stars. So in my example as a shade, I use strength as my main stat and dex is my secondary stat. So this would be 145 strength, 145 dex. Next up, we have our attack or magic gains. So at 22 stars, I will gain 100 attack from the base stats of this equip. Next up, we have our potential, where these are level 160 items. It's going to be 33% strength. Next up, we have our flames, which is a very important piece of this puzzle. One of the huge advantages with transposing is ideally, you're going to transpose something that has boss flame advantage onto your Sweetwater gear. So once again, if we look back at the Papulatus Mark example, you're going to take that Papulatus Mark because it has the boss flame advantage. You're going to flame that item very well. And then and only then you'll transpose that item onto your Sweetwater molecule. Once you transpose it, an item that naturally cannot get boss flame advantage will now have those flames carry over. So this is the very advantageous thing about transposing. With that said, this is the flame score that I have used for this transpose. It's completely up to you as to how much money you want to spend. You know, you can possibly get a better flame score than this. You know, this is just what I would want to settle with if I was going to transpose an item like this. And that would be, this is 72 strength or 72 stat, along with 6% all stat. So if you've ever flamed before, this information is pretty basic to you. It's just 72 and 6% all stat. So that's the flame here. So all in all, if you add that together, we're going to have 217 strength. We're going to have 100 attack. We're going to have, the potential is going to be the same obviously, but we're going to have 6% all stat here. Next up, with just the basic Sweetwater tattoo at 22 stars, you'll have 136 strength, 92 attack. This is the same. For flames, again, if you've ever flamed non-boss advantage items, it is very difficult and you would want to rip your hair out by the end of it. But basically, we're gonna settle with 36 stat and 4% all stat. That is still a very good flame for a Sweetwater item. This is actually better than my current equipped Sweetwater tattoo. So in actuality, it's going to be actually better than this for me. Again though, you do your own math if you actually want to get super specific. Again, this is just for general showcase. But to wrap it up, all in all for the Sweetwater tattoo, you have 172 stat, 92 attack or magic attack, and then you have 4% all stat. So if you look at the difference between the Transposed Sweetwater tattoo and the regular Sweetwater tattoo, the difference is with the Transposed Sweetwater tattoo, you're going to be gaining 45 stat, you're going to be gaining 8 attack, and you're going to be gaining 2% all stat. These numbers combined adds up for a grand total of 0.89 final damage difference. Okay, so now that we can clearly see that a transposed tattoo is better than a clean tattoo, let's compare the topic of this video, the Twilight Mark with the 2-set effect from the Guardian Angel Ring, compared to a transposed Sweetwater tattoo that has the higher star force and potential gains. Okay, so since we went over the last chart in detail, I'm not going to go into like what each one of these mean as far as like the layout of this. It's going to be the same as the last one. So you can just look at it for yourself quickly. You can pause the video if you like and look at this chart. I will just go over just the primary highlights and the differences and the gains and advantages of each set. So with the top set here, you have just the Twilight Mark by itself along with the Guardian Angel Ring. Reason being is because of obviously the 2-set effect. The 2-set effect, it's interesting and it's advantageous because we have this 10% boss damage added into the 2-set effect, which you'll see here in a moment. The 10% boss damage actually carries it over quite dramatically and actually makes it better than the other setup. The other setup is just our 22-star transposed Sweetwater tattoo along with the Guardian Angel Ring. The reason that the Guardian Angel Ring is in both of these comparisons is because, that's like the flat constant between the two comparisons. You're going to be using the Guardian Angel Ring anyway where it's best in slot, so it's just in there to compare the two. So all in all, we can just look at the numbers here. So for this set effect here, with everything added up, we have a total of 326 stat, 187 attack or magic attack. We have 63% from our potential. We have 6% all stat, and then we have 10% boss damage. Again, the 10% boss damage is very important here at the end roll up, once we add everything up. For the Transposed Sweetwater tattoo setup, we do have more raw stat gains. So we have 353, 194 attack, We have higher potential because this is a level 160 item. So this is going to be 33% versus 30% once again. So you're going to have 66% total potential versus 63%. And then everything else is the same as far as like the all stat. So if we want to look at the comparison between the two sets, the Transposed Sweetwater tattoo set, so you're actually going to have 27 stat higher. You're going to have 7 more attack or magic attack. You're going to have 3% stat gain because of the potential. But you're not going to have this 10% boss damage. And the 10% boss damage, you know, that's going to be quite a substantial difference between the two. So because you don't have this 10% boss damage and this set effect between these two items, the top one, the Twilight Mark and the Guardian Angel Ring, by itself, you know, untransposed, just the basic level 140 item, because of the two set effect, is actually 0.66% final damage better than the Transposed Sweetwater tattoo setup. Again, you can feel free to pause this video and look at this information to digest it better if I'm not doing a very good job explaining it. But this is the calculation for it. You know, and again, are these numbers going to vary from person to person, from setup to setup, depending on, you know, your other equipment or your link skills or your class? Yes, it is. But again, this is just for general purpose. This is just for showcase. You can do the math yourself to figure out exactly what this number is. But again, this 10% boss damage is pretty advantageous. You know, it's going to be pretty hard to actually... I'm having a tough time envisioning a setup or a class or a situation that this bottom set here is actually going to beat out this top set. But again, you can do the math for yourself. This is just what we've came up with as far as adding everything up. So this is what it is. So now you probably have a few questions. Vedu, is it worth me to upgrade to the Twilight Mark over my 22-star Sweetwater tattoo? Well, the answer to this question is going to vary. It's going to depend on your future plans and motivation levels. The Twilight Mark is definitely an upgrade over your current Sweetwater tattoo. But whether that upgrade is worth it to you, that's completely up to you to decide. Even though the Twilight Mark beats out the Sweetwater tattoo, whether you transpose it or not, it still isn't the best in slot because of the Berserked from Lotus being a level 160, coupled with the Pitch Ball set effect. The next question. Vedu, isn't starring a Twilight Mark to 22 stars completely pointless? Why not just wait for a Berserk drop? So my only response to this is that there are plenty of people who routinely 22-star Sweetwater tattoos as it currently stands. So what's the difference here? Not to mention the Sweetwater pendant is routinely 22-starred, and it also loses out to the Source of Suffering with the Pitch Ball set effect. This is a tricky question to answer, but the sad reality is you may never get a Berserk drop. There are no guarantees. As far as we know, the Twilight Mark should have a similar drop rate to the Guardian Angel Ring. This information has been confirmed by Kobe via Twitch. Regardless of that, you will get 2 chances at a Twilight Mark per week since you can get it from both Lucid and Will. The final question. Vedu, I'm a new player and my Sweetwater tattoo is only at 17 stars. What should I do? Well, if that's the case, it's 100% worth it to immediately go for the Twilight Mark route, if you're able to do so. It may be difficult at first because initially many people will be wanting to get spares so they can 22-star it. So unless you have some sort of great connections, it is going to be hard for you initially to get loot priority for the drop, since the Twilight Mark will be a non-instance drop, meaning everyone in the party can loot it. I would just say to be patient, and after a couple of months, you can probably get your loot turn and get your own Twilight Mark. Once you do that, the Twilight Mark will blow the Sweetwater tattoo out of the water, because of the difference in flames and the two-set effect with the Guardian and Joran. Remember, the only reason that the Sweetwater tattoo is good is because it can be star forced to 22 stars and because it gains a good amount of stats per star past 15 stars. But if both items are at 17 stars, the Sweetwater tattoo's only inherent advantage over the level 140 Twilight Mark is mostly nullified. Not to mention, since the Twilight Mark is a level 140 item, it's cheaper to star force too. So that about sums it up for me, everyone. In short, the Destiny patch looks very interesting, and I'm very excited about swapping my Sweetwater tattoo out for this new piece of equipment. The Twilight Mark is definitely an upgrade, but whether or not it's worth it for you, that's up for you to decide. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you think the upgrade is worth doing. Are you going to be upgrading your Sweetwater tattoo? That does it for me, everyone. Stay safe and happily mapling. This is Vadu, and I'm out.